So today we're going to cover buy-to-let basics. Buy-to-let is basically a property you're not going to live in. Buy-to-let is a property you're going to buy and then rent that property out for someone else. And hopefully the income from that is going to cover the mortgage, and hopefully over time you're going to get long-term growth and also rental income. From the rental income you might not earn a massive amount, but hopefully say over time, you know, it should pay for itself. And yeah, the property price should go up well, it should go up hopefully. Prices have gone up year on year for the last little while, and have practically kind of doubled every 10 years. So, you know, buy-to-let's a really, really good, maybe long-term investment to kind of look at. It's an understandable investment because it's bricks and mortar. You can see it, touch it, feel it, understand that, you know, people are going to live in the property and rent it from you. So quick kind of basics on buy-to-let. Now, generally on buy-to-let, it comes away from your own income. So it means that you don't necessarily need to show that you can afford to live in it the same as you would do a residential property. Lenders will stress test it, but generally you're going to need around about a 25% deposit. You can get slightly smaller deposits from 20%. Just bear in mind, if you do that, the rates do jump up quite significantly. And we're going to look for a 75% loan to value mortgage. If you can read my writing at all, which you possibly can't. We'll look at property, say for example, based on 200k. So potentially you can need a 50k deposit and then get your mortgage then of 150k. The only other costs to consider are going to be stamp duty on this property at 200,000, which for a second home, because you're likely to already own your first home, and because it's investment property, you'll be looking at around about £7,500 worth of stamp duty. So this cost might be kind of £1,700–1,800. So in order to have a buy-to-let, you're going to need some in the region of around about, at this level, about £60,000 in savings to cover your deposit and your costs as well. Oh, costs. The other thing to bear in mind when buying a buy-to-let, it doesn't necessarily go on your income, but lenders are going to want to know that you have at least a fair level of income, so you can cover any voids if the tenant was to move out or anything else like that. So a lot of lenders like you to be on, say for example, £25,000 as a minimum. But there are some that will do it with absolutely no income whatsoever, provided we've got an explainable way of you being able to cover any shortfalls. The other thing to bear in mind is going to be whether you're going to hold the property in your name, whether you're going to hold it in a limited company name, because there are some tax benefits to holding a limited company. I would recommend that you seek out a tax advisor for that. And if you give us a call, we can certainly redirect you to someone to work out in terms of tax, which is the best way to hold the property. Is it going to be in your name, or potentially going to be worth your while setting up a limited company and holding it in that way? So all lenders are basically going to stress test and make sure that the money you receive in for the property is more than enough in their eyes to be able to pay for, you know, any bills of the property, the mortgage, taxation, and that sort of stuff. So they'll all look at kind of stress testing your property. So in this example just here, you'll have some lenders which stress test quite tightly and other lenders which stress test quite loosely. So example of those stress tests most loosely might mean then that you only need to earn, for example, £700 per month in rental income to break even in their eyes, and other lenders may demand slightly more, up to, say for example, £1,000 per month in rental. Some lenders will let you stress test slightly less, for example, if you put it over a 5-year fixed rate rather than the short-term fixed rate. So it really just depends on how long you're going to keep the property for, how you're going to hold that asset, and how much it needs to rent for. In terms of rental income, you'll need to pay tax on it, which is probably one of the most important things now. They've done away with allowing you to not have any kind of interest rate relief on that. So taxation is going to come into it quite heavily, depending on how it's stress tested. So as I say, what I would say is get some decent tax advice. As long as they say a £200,000 property can rent somewhere between £700 and £1,000 per month, which in this area they should really do, there's not going to be too much of a problem really. If you've got any other questions or queries, give us a call. We can go through your own personal circumstances. Cheers.